Yes, welcome back to the program. And we are trying to get hold of Dr. Ziyaad Dangor to log into the streaming facility that we have set up. Excuse me. And the topic that we want to discuss is children returning to school in South Africa under COVID 19 regulations. It was all supposed to have happened on Monday, yesterday, but now it's been delayed. And we're looking at the 8th of June, perhaps, and grades 12s and grade 5s, 7s rather. Now, the South African Paediatric Association, SAPA, has issued a communique saying that they support that children should return to school immediately and pupils, and listen to this, including those with asthma, allergic conditions, and HIV, can return to school. The association says teachers are not at risk of being infected by pupils, and they have supported government's position to have pupils and learners coming back to the classroom. The department had announced, obviously, as you know, that the schools will not be reopening until the 8th of June. And in the statement issued over the weekend, SAPA said that it supported the position that children should return as quickly as possible. It said there was uncertainty about the future trajectory of the pandemic in South Africa, with more infections and a long duration being predicted. In their statement, which I'll read out directly, it says, while it is certain that children face an increased risk of SARS-CoV-2 infection once back at school, the consequence for children will be milder compared to adults. Pediatric Kawasaki like multi-system inflammatory syndrome is rare, SAPA said. So we're trying to get hold of Dr. Ziyaad Dangor on the live stream program, and then he'll join us and we'll be able to have a quick discussion if time permits, because there's just 2 or 3 minutes now left of the program before the 9 o'clock news bulletin. If not, we'll try and delay it to a better time, because I think this is a really important discussion that we need to have and that parents need to listen to in order to perhaps bring back some kind of ease of mind and soul, knowing that their kids are heading out into the schooling system and into the public after so many weeks of being at home and not interacting, or not supposedly interacting, with many people. In various different areas, though, for example, in the south of Johannesburg, we've been moving through El Dorado Park, through Tembelishle, and various other informal settlements. And what we've seen is that kids have been out on the street all of this time. They have been interacting, they have been playing, they have been engaging in social activity, and many a times, or most of the times, without a mask on their face. And another question that needs to be asked, I mean, really, guys, let's be honest about this. How do you feel wearing that face mask? How do you feel, after 10, 20, 15 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour of wearing a face mask? It becomes really claustrophobic. It's not the easiest things to do. We know that it's part of the regulations, part of the advice that's been given to people, and it perhaps is one of the better things to be doing, although there are medical arguments to the contrary. But nonetheless, wearing a face mask is not the easiest thing to do for a prolonged period of time. Yesterday, I visited a home where we did a delivery of a face shield, in fact, 70 face shields for a company that needed them. And I met an elderly lady who said that she'd love to have a face shield as well, because wearing the face mask is just something she can't do. She can't drive around in it. Becomes very hot and flustery, and your glasses mist up when it's cold and you can't see clearly. And there are so many different issues around face masks. But I'm joined now by Dr. Ziyaad Dangor for a quick discussion. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Doctor, we don't have much time, unfortunately. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Walaikum salam.
All right, so what is SAPA saying? And I'm sure we're going to try and bring you back at a later time for more in-depth analysis. But what is SAPA saying about children going back to school?
So at this juncture, SAPA is supporting children going back to school. And I think the reason we're doing that is mainly because the benefits of going back to school clearly outweigh the risk for children at this point.
And when you say outweigh the risk, I mean, we parents have almost become paranoid about getting their kids out into the open after all of these weeks of lockdown. Will there be no problem at all? Why are children less susceptible?
So that's why I've said risk. I mean, what we have to realize is that there will always be a risk of illness. I mean, we can't get away from this virus. I think to say that it's impossible for children to get the virus is wrong. But we know that compared to adults, there's a much lower proportion of children getting the virus, firstly. Those that are getting the virus, only a portion of them are being infected and getting symptoms of disease. And those that are getting symptoms are usually mild symptoms. So if you compare to adults, they're doing much better in terms of handling the virus.
Have you seen some cases that have come through of kids already through the system and managed to recover and continue thereafter?
Yes, very few kids have come through. I think I've got colleagues at multiple hospitals in South Africa, and the general consensus is we've seen very, very few children so far being hospitalized. Most of these children are being sent home, and even the ones hospitalized are mild illness.
All right, Dr. Ziyaad, we're going to have to leave it there, unfortunately, because we've struck the hour of 9 o'clock. We'll have to take the news bulletin right now.
Sure.
But we will definitely set up a more in-depth interview around this, perhaps in a day or two's time, to get that information out and to help clarify some matters to the public. Jazakallah khairan. Nonetheless, you go well. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.